Good morning. I'm Dr. Bill Wyatt. I'm the general dentist that's done nothing but orthodontics for the last 42 years, I think. And I'm a member of the American Orthodontic Society. And this is a wonderful society for general and pediatric dentists. And if you're one of these gentlemen, and there are ladies too, we have a lot of wonderful ladies in there. We hope you'll join this society. I'm going to talk to you this morning about some wire bending things. I've got some pictures here that I'm going to try to show. It's hard to show somebody how to bend wire, but you really need to know how to make things, and you can make the teeth do almost anything you want them to do within reason if you know how to put force on them. And you've got to be able to bend this wire so you insert it into the bracket where it's going to put this force on the tooth to move it one way or the other. Now there are opposing forces, the occlusion, the interlocking cusp of the teeth make a lot of difference, and so you have to kind of compensate for that. But you can do just all sorts of things with the teeth, and also the facial structure about how you move and do these things. So hope you'll pick that up from one of these videos that I'm doing. So I'm going to get on into this now and try to make it short. Actually, we had a wax pattern that we came up with, this arch form that we took of the wax pattern of the patient's teeth. Now here is the plier that we bend these omegas with. I'm going to show you several views of it. It used to be made for an Adam's clasp, and I started making these omegas with it years ago. I mean, a long time ago. I went out to California one time and spoke at San Diego Dental Society, and a lot of orthodontics were there. They weren't interested in what I was doing there, but they wanted to say, where did you get this plier that you're able to make these omegas? And what is it? Well, it was an Adam's class plier made in Germany, and it was a super good plier, and it does wonders. Now I use 018 brackets, the 018 or 18 thousandths brackets, and my arch wires, if they're rectangular, will be 18 thousandths in the vertical dimension, and the horizontal dimension they will be 20 thousandths, 1725. It's a 1725. It's 25,025 on the side up here, the rectangular arch wire, you see. Now that's our bracket slots will be 18 thousandths. So your wire is 1,000 smaller than the wire slot in the bracket. So it fills in that bracket quite full. So if you put torque in there, and I'm talking about a bracket that's sitting up here on the tooth, you see, and it makes that tooth do certain things. You kick the root out in this direction or bring it back in towards you. You go labial or lingual with it, you can go medial or distal. Is to have whatever you want to do with this root of this tooth, you see. And it is marvelous. If you learn how to do this, you can just do all sorts of things with teeth. So maybe I better hush on that. I'll be harping on that from now on. I've got a whole bunch of these pictures to show you. Alright, here's the plier, and I'm going to open the plier. No, I'll just hold it over. You can see the handle and this tongue that reaches down in here. And that's where you lay your wire across this way, you see, through that plier. Alright, here it is open. Now your wire will be laid right in here. And you take, for instance, your archwire would be something like that. You make this and you put a mark where you want that omega to be on your plier, on your wire, where it's laying down on the wax pattern. I'll show you this wax pattern when we finish. I should, I'm sure we got a video on wax patterns too. So now there it is, closed again. There, it's just another shot of it. It is the way we hold it, the way some of the ladies hold these pliers. And I know how to bend them, and I've taught many dentists how to do it, and I have a staff, or I did have a staff, I have retired now, but of a group of wonderful ladies who helped me tremendously, and they could bend the wire. That was one requirement. When they'd come to work, they'd start out at the bottom and they'd follow around on somebody until they learned how to bend every one of the arch wires. And we had a wonderful staff that could do that. And you have to do it, though. Don't think you send your staff off to learn it and then come back. You've got to do it yourself. All right. Here we take the wire. We spun a wire out with a certain amount of torque in that wire. And this is the arch wire that we spun out on our little turret, you know, and it has a certain amount of torque. So I put a little torque in this wire, just to illustrate. Now at the end of the wire, I guess I'll have to start. We buy our rectangular wire in 14-inch sticks, like such. We cut them half in two. That's a 7-inch stick, and that's what this is. It's a 7-inch piece of straight wire. We put it on that turret, and we can spin it off with whatever torque we want to. I just illustrating this. We spun it off at about maybe 7 degrees or something like that, and then we bend the tail end of the wire up so you can see what torque is in the wire itself before you start. I'm going to explain a lot of stuff here. I probably don't need to for many of you. Now we can take 2 of these pliers that we have. They go down to 0.5 millimeter at the tip. Now this is a 2 steel insert in the plier, and that's essential. I can use one of these pliers for years, bending the wire right out here on the tip of it, you know. And that 2 steel just stays with you. But if you just take a plain steel set of pliers with the tip like that, that'll wear out in just a little while. But use the 2 steel inserts in these pliers. Alright, here we'll twist that plier. In other words, we'll take that and hold it with one plier over here and twist with this plier. And you can move this around however you want to. See? Now that puts torque in this buckled segment of the wire. And usually You don't do any torquing on the cuspid, so you'll start distal to the cuspid and torque the bicuspids and molars out, especially if you're expanding an arch. You want to bring the roots of these bicuspids and molars out, because as you start expanding it, the crown will just lean out itself and the roots will actually go back in the other direction a little bit. So you got to put this torque in there. That makes the roots go with the crown as you expand the arch. Now that's, I may be sounding elementary, but this is, that's good. What's happening there? Okay. Now here we're going to bend this. I put a mark on the mesial part of that omega. That's where I want the omega to be on the arch itself. Coming around like that. I put a mark on it. We'll make one and then cross over and make the other one on the other side. Okay. Here we go down with that. Now if you go down, it will pull. This is the arch wire coming around to the side. And you tail in the wire back on the back. Maybe reverse to that, it doesn't matter anyway. I'm going to mash that down, and I'll mash it some more. And this little mark that I put on the wire is right up against that omega, right there, see? But the thing's just like this. It won't work that way, so the plier is made so you can turn it, you see, in here. So you're going to take this out and put this omega right in that part. And the wire is going to be going this way with the omega in here, see? And you're going to put an angle to the omega. Now we're just rolling that plier around and we'll put the wire right in here, see? And watch this take place. Now we've laid the plier down. Here's the little dot you see right there, and we're putting it in the omega plier here. Now we've got a beveled deal over here, you see. And as we squeeze that together, it's going to tighten that and angle it this direction. And so now the tail end of the plier is back here, and that's where we're using the wire up. The wire is being used from this end. This is the part that's going around to the other side. You're going to put one of these omegas over there in a minute, you see. Okay. Now, slip it in there, and we're going to close that together. That's closed up where it's just kind of fixing to mash it. And now it's going to crimp that wire together. I went too fast there. It's clipped all the way together. Now you can make omegas, and people are making them for years, but they're not really delicate enough. And you tie your arch wire back with it. You see your molar tube will be back here somewhere. And then you tie, and the end of your wire be cut off here or something, and you drop your tie back there and come around in front of this, and you push on this and tighten this wire up in the mouth. There's nothing like holding it. You tie it on both sides, and that arch wire does not move one bit. You've got to keep the center right in the center where you started each time. What's causing all that racket? Okay, now we've moved it around like that. Here you've got the omegas made and it's pitched back, but you want it to tilt out. I want it to come out this way a little bit, and then I want to have a kind of this is going around the front now, so we're going to go in a little bit and then move the wire around. So we'll show you how we do that. You've got to twist this wire over like this and then twist it back this way to make it go there. So here we go. Now we catch the wire with the omega right on the tip of this plier, and that's the mesial part of the omega right here. See? So we catch this part of it, and we're going to bend this wire in, and then we'll put our plier over here and bend it back out that way. Now we bend it over about like 45-degree angle, and now we're going to catch it with the plier right there and then bend it back out in that direction. You say this is a heck of a lot of bending, but if you put this on there, you can use the omega and the arch wire for a long time in there, because you can take it in and out and work on it and do what you need to make the teeth do what you want them to do. Okay, I'm going to erase that. Now we'll go. Okay, now we bent that over on the 45 degree. You see, it's not exactly 45, it is actually. And now we're going to straighten that out. Now we bend it out with our finger. You can see the pressure on the finger here. You can feel, a lot of times you can almost do some of these things and not even look at them. So we've got the omega coming on here, set it up, and coming down, going over here, and now we're moving it back in that direction. Now there we've bent it. I bend it further one, it'll come back out about like that, you see. And some of you are going to look at this and say, oh my God, that's too difficult. I don't want to get tied up with that. Alright, here is the archwire. Now this will be the buckle side, because the molars are a lot bigger than the bicuspids in here. And of course they don't tell you that, the straight wire thing. So if you put your brackets on, you got your molar too far in. You want your molar out over here. So this goes right here, comes up. It goes back in here so we can push it, tie it back, comes back in. And when you slide this arch wire in to the bracket slots, this part goes right by the brackets, and then this slides into the molar tube back in here. See, slips in there. It's really neat to know how to do this. Now, you can do one of these in just a matter of minutes or so. The ladies that do this constantly, I mean, they make these arch wires. They can put one of these out while you're thinking about it, unless you really know how to do this. Now, there we catch the omega. We want to tilt the omega out this way because it pokes the tissue up here maybe. So you grab the plier here and here with another one, and you're going to bend it out in this direction. So the omega is going to be setting off to the side like this, and the archwire will be close there. And that kind of keeps it from digging into the tissue. And then when you want to get around it to tie it back, then you can get around it easy. Alright. Then we bend it out. We're changing the torque in the distal end of it here. Now we hold it here and we twist the wire there, and I can put whatever buckle root torque I want from the bicuspid on back on those teeth. You don't normally torque those cuspids any at all. Well, sometimes we do to make them look more feminine. You can make a cuspid look much more feminine if you kind of tilt it in like this. If you tilt the cuspid out this way, then you can drop it down further and it'll fit come across here, but then the person looks aggressive. And so you have a female cuspid here, and you can have a male cuspid tilted out and drop down just a little bit more. Makes the guy look kind of aggressive, you know, or something. Back with the good old animal days. A lot of people don't realize that. And you can drop the cuspid lower and you can still slide from side to side if it's sticking out. But it looks mean. So you don't want to put that on women. Okay. Now here we're finishing the other. See, we finished over here and we drop right over here and start doing another one. And then we whip it out and we've got them leaning, you see, out like that. And they're also leaning forward, so you can tie against that. And that's an omega and archwire. But you don't have to change your wire every time you change or need to adjust the wire inside the mouth. You just untie it and it'll slide right out of the mouth. Take it out. Now, let's see. This is just to type it out. We just took a wax pattern of it and we laid this wire on the wax pattern and put a little torque in it. You don't have to. Just take a straight untorqued wire, stick it in here, mark the center of it where you're going to go back each time, and then you you got your wax pattern. You can't go in the mouth and do this, so you take a piece of this beeswax and mash it up against the teeth, and it'll show you all the brackets and all this. And you take the wax down, lay the wire on right behind the deals, and mark the center of your wire, so you go there each time, and then you come over and mark where you're going to put this omega. And you want the omega right behind the bicuspid. If you've got some spaces in between here and you want to put this in and tie it back, it'll close all the space in there if you need to close the space. And so that's, I didn't show you that wax pattern to start with, kind of confuse you. Alright, I think we're about at the end of this. See, oh, here is the wax pattern, finally. And this is the molar cusp. You see them sticking up here? This is the bicuspid. Now I want this thing to be right here at the bicuspid, you see. So I put a mark right there, and that's the mark I showed you on the start of this. And you start from there, and it uses this part of the wire up, but doesn't use any of this part. So if you want to put loops or something in the wire, you start here and work back in this direction. It uses all this, and you do the next curve or whatever you're going to put, a loop or whatever you put in the archwire, put it in from work from the center as you go to the back, and you use up the back. Then you make the omega back here. You've already got these loops if you're going to put loops in that part or something. I use very few loops. Alright, but we know how to do them, and we can do them if you need them. Okay, that's the end of this video, and it took us 25 minutes to do that. I'm talk too much, maybe. Alright, so we'll hush up. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning right now, and I got up and came in, but it's nice and quiet, and the dogs aren't barking. So I'll see y'all later. Hope you learned something from this. I will put it on the internet as soon as we can. Thank you now. Good night. Bye-bye.